The Second ACT Society. Episode 1: The Merger. They say that when one door closes, another one opens. What they don't tell you is that sometimes the door doesn't just close, it slams in your face. With your career, your identity, and your entire sense of purpose. On the other side, and sometimes, that door slams while you're sitting in an airport bar at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Drinking an overpriced Chardonnay, surrounded by 4 other women who just got hit by the same door. My name is Diane Mitchell. I'm 54 years old. And this morning, after 27 years with the same company, I was handed a severance package and shown the exit. Turns out, I wasn't alone. ACT won the layoffs. It started like any other Monday. I woke up at 5:30 a.m., went for my run, made coffee. I didn't have time to finish, and arrived at the office by 7:15. I'd been vice president of marketing at Harrington Media for 12 years. Before that, I'd climbed from an entry-level position all the way up. 27 years, more than half my life. The email came at 8:47 a.m. Urgent all senior staff report to conference room A. 9 a.m. sharp. I remember thinking it was probably another one of those mandatory inclusivity trainings. Or maybe they were finally rolling out the rebrand I'd been pushing for. I was catastrophically wrong. When I walked into conference room A, I knew immediately. You develop an instinct for these things after enough years. In corporate America, the energy in a room before layoffs has a particular quality. Like the air pressure before a storm. Pamela Torres was already there. HR director. We'd started the same year. Both of us fresh-faced 20-somethings with more ambition than sense. She was sitting in the back row, which should have been my first clue. Pam never sat in the back. Hey, what's this about? Merger. What merger? The one they didn't tell us about. Marcus Dalton, CEO, 62, 6-figure bonus. Regardless of company performance, walked to the front of the room with a woman I didn't recognize. Expensive suit. That particular brand of corporate smile that signals bad news. Dressed up as opportunity. Thank you all for coming on short notice. I'd like to introduce Sandra Chen from Titan Acquisitions. As of last Friday, Harrington Media has been acquired by Titan. And we're excited to announce a restructuring that will create tremendous synergy. Synergy. The word that meant half of us were about to lose our jobs. And unfortunately, that means some redundancies in leadership. We've carefully evaluated all positions. And those affected have been identified. If you're in this room, your position has been eliminated. You'll each meet individually with HR to discuss your severance package and transition timeline. Just like that. 27 years, summarized in 3 sentences and a severance package. I looked around the room. 12 of us. All senior leadership. All women. Pam's hand found mine under the table. Her grip was iron. Questions? Yeah, I have a question. How many men are in this room? I'm sorry? Men. How many? I don't see how that's 0. 12 senior positions eliminated. All women. The 7 men at our level are all keeping their jobs. That's not restructuring, that's housecleaning. I can assure you, this decision was based purely on redundancy of roles and save it. I'll see you in arbitration. She walked out. The rest of us sat there, stunned. Pam leaned over. She's right. This is age discrimination. Gender discrimination. Prove it. They've got lawyers. We've got severance packages that include non-disclosure agreements. So we just take it? I didn't have an answer. Transition to airport. 4 hours later, I was at LaGuardia. With a box of my belongings and a 3 p.m. flight back to my empty apartment in Brooklyn. The severance meeting had been efficient. 6 months salary. Continued health insurance for 90 days. A glowing recommendation letter. And an NDA that said if I ever spoke publicly about why I was fired, I'd lose everything. Diane? I turned. Carmen Rodriguez was standing behind me in the security line. CFO. 57. 3 grown kids, 2 grandkids, recently widowed. She'd always intimidated me slightly. She had this way of seeing straight through corporate bullshit that I envied. You too? Early retirement, they called it. As if I had a choice. I'm so sorry. Don't be. I'm furious, but I'm not sorry. She studied me. You heading home? Brooklyn. You? Boston. But my flight's delayed 3 hours. Want to grab a drink? The bar was one of those generic airport places. with overpriced cocktails and CNN playing silently on mounted TVs. We ordered wine, white for me, red for Carmen, and sat there for a moment in that particular silence of people who've just shared trauma. 22 years. I started when my youngest was in kindergarten. Worked my way up from accounting clerk to CFO. And this morning, I was redundant. 27 for me. Jesus. You know what the worst part is? I actually believed them when they said we were valued. That experience mattered. That we'd earned our seats at the table. We did earn them. And they took them away anyway. My husband died 18 months ago. I threw myself into work because it was the one thing that made sense. The one place I still felt relevant. Visible. And now. Her voice cracked. She covered it with another sip of wine. I'm 54. I've got maybe 10, 15 good working years left. Who's going to hire a 54-year-old woman for a VP position? When they can get someone 35 for half the salary? Nobody. Exactly. Is this the impromptu support group for women? Who got screwed by corporate America? We turned. Michelle Dawes stood there, leather jacket, rolling suitcase, and an expression that suggested she'd either been crying or was about to start. Carmen gestured to the empty bar stool. Pull up a chair. Misery loves company. Michelle sat. Ordered whiskey. My flight's in 2 hours. Figure I might as well be drunk for it. Where you headed? Chicago. Got a sister there. No job, no prospects, but hey, I'm free from the patriarchy. We clinked glasses with her, a toast to nothing. Room for 2 more casualties? Tessa Wright and, oh God, Pamela. Both pulling suitcases, both looking shell-shocked. Please. We made space. Tessa was our IT director. 52, in a relationship with a woman 15 years younger. Brilliant with technology and terrible with people. Pam I knew, but seeing her here, outside the context of the office. She looked smaller somehow. Vulnerable. We ordered more drinks. The bartender, a guy in his 20s, clearly sensed we were in crisis mode and kept them coming. So, what now? Job search. Update LinkedIn. Network. Pray someone wants to hire a 51-year-old HR director. I'm thinking early retirement. Take my severance, supplement with some consulting maybe. I don't have the energy to prove myself all over again. I'm 52. In tech. I'm ancient. They'll want someone who knows TikTok and AI. And whatever the hell is trending this week. We all nodded. The reality settling in. You know what pisses me off most? I'm good at my job. I'm damn good. I closed the Meridian deal, remember that? $8 million. But I'm 49 and I'm a woman, so I'm redundant. Meanwhile, Brad from accounting, who's 46 and barely competent, is now VP of finance. Because he plays golf with Marcus. We drank to that too. I don't know who started laughing first. Maybe it was the wine. Maybe it was the sheer absurdity of it all. But suddenly, we were laughing, that slightly hysterical laughter. That's half tears, half rage. We should start our own company. No men allowed. Just bitter middle-aged women taking over the world. What would we even do? I don't know. Consulting? Coaching? Competitive drinking? We're good at that. No, but seriously, what if we did? We all looked at her. Did what? Started something. Together. We've got, what, combined, over 100 years of corporate experience? Marketing, HR, finance, sales, That's literally everything you need to run a business. A business doing what? Helping other women like us. The table went quiet. Think about it. How many women just got laid off today? This week? This month? How many of them are sitting somewhere right now, terrified, wondering what the hell they're supposed to do? We could help them. Career transition coaching, resume building, interview prep, networking, all the things we know how to do. That's actually not a terrible idea. It's a saturated market. Career coaches are everywhere. Not for us. Not for women over 40. Not for women who spent decades climbing the ladder just to get kicked off. We'd understand them. Because we are them. I felt something stirring in my chest. Something that wasn't just wine and desperation. We could call it the Second Act Society. They all looked at me. Second acts. That's what we need, right? A second chance. A new chapter. We help women write their second acts. I like it. It's catchy. Carmen was studying me. You're serious? I don't know. Maybe? I mean, what else am I going to do? Send out resumes for 6 months and get rejected because I'm too old? or too expensive, or too female? We'd need capital, office space, insurance, a business plan. We have severance packages. That's capital. It's our safety net. If this fails, then we're in the same position we're in now. Looking for jobs that don't want us. At least this way, we'd be trying. That's me. Flight to Chicago. Michelle stood, grabbed her bag, paused, and looked back at us. So, is this actually happening? Or is this just drunk airport talk? Michelle grabbed her bag. Fuck it. I'm in. Someone email me tomorrow when we're sober. If we still think this is a good idea, we'll talk. She left. The four of us sat there. Well, that was unexpected. Are we really considering this? Tessa pulled out her phone. What's everyone's email? Let's at least see if we're still interested tomorrow. We exchanged information. My hands were shaking slightly as I typed my email into Tessa's phone. I can't believe we're doing this. We're not doing anything yet. Tomorrow, sober, we decide. Tonight, we're just 5 women who got fired drinking at an airport bar. Best therapy session I've had in years. ACT to the morning after. I woke up Tuesday morning with a headache. A cat demanding breakfast and 17 text messages. Most were from well-meaning friends and former colleagues. Who'd heard about the layoffs? Thinking of you. You'll land on your feet. Their loss. The usual platitudes people say when they're grateful it's not them. But 3 messages were from the airport bar group. Still thinking about this. Not drunk. Actually interested. Sober now. Still pissed. Still in. Made coffee. Ran numbers. This could actually work. Call me. I stared at the messages. Last night felt like a fever dream. 5 laid-off women drinking and plotting revolution. But in the harsh light of morning, with my cat meowing and my empty work laptop sitting on the counter, reality felt different. I called Carmen. You're up early. Couldn't sleep. You said you ran numbers? Rough ones. If each of us contributed 20% of our severance packages, we'd have about $180,000 in seed capital. That's enough for a year of lean operations. Small office space, basic marketing, website, insurance. Some operating expenses. That's a huge risk. Yes. If it fails, we lose our safety net. I know. But Diane, I did some research this morning. The career coaching industry for executives is worth billions. And there's a gap. Nobody specifically targeting women over 40 who've been pushed out. We could fill that gap. Could. Maybe. Possibly. Or we could update our LinkedIn profiles and hope someone wants to hire 50-something women in a youth-obsessed economy. I'm not saying it's a sure thing. I'm saying it's an option. I need to think about it. We all do. But I'm sending you a rough business plan by end of day. Just look at it. Then we decide. She hung up. I fed my cat, Professor Whiskers. A gray tabby I'd adopted 2 years ago when my daughter moved out. He looked at me with those judgmental cat eyes. What? It's a terrible idea, right? He licked his paw, unimpressed with my crisis. My phone buzzed. Email from Pam. Couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about this. I talked to my husband. He thinks I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But I spent 26 years in HR dealing with bullshit like yesterday. If we could actually help women navigate this, wouldn't that mean something? I took my coffee to the window. Brooklyn stretched out below me. Brownstones and corner bodegas and people rushing to jobs they still had. I'd lived here for 15 years. Raised my daughter here after the divorce. Built a life. And yesterday, in one meeting, that life got smaller. My phone rang. Tessa, did Carmen send you the business plan yet? She's still working on it. I made a website mock-up. Want to see? Tessa, we haven't even decided if we're doing this. I know, but I was up anyway. Website design is how I process stress. Can I send it to you? Sure. 30 seconds later, my email pinged. I opened the attachment. A clean, professional website layout appeared. The Second Act Society in elegant script across the top. Tagline: your career doesn't end at 40. It evolves. Below that, career transition coaching. Executive resume services. Interview preparation. Networking strategy. Personal branding. And at the bottom, founded by women who've been there. Because your experience isn't a liability, it's your superpower. I stared at the screen. Tessa, you still there? Yeah, sorry. This is good, Tessa. You think so? Really good. So we're doing this? Was we? I looked around my apartment. The place I'd rented after the divorce, promising myself it was temporary. That was 10 years ago. The furniture I'd bought promising myself I'd upgrade eventually. I hadn't. The life I'd built around work because work was the one thing that made sense. And now work didn't want me anymore. I don't know, but I'm not saying no. ACT3 the decision. We met at a coffee shop in Manhattan. Neutral ground. All 5 of us, sober, in daylight. Carmen arrived first, leather portfolio in hand. Michelle came in wearing business casual instead of her leather jacket. Like she was trying to convince herself this was a real meeting. Tessa and Pam arrived together, having apparently carpooled. We sat, ordered overpriced lattes, looked at each other. So, are we doing this or were we just drunk? Carmen opened her portfolio. I worked out a 12-month projection. Conservative estimates. We'd need to land approximately 15 clients per month. At an average rate of $2,000 per client to break even. That's $30,000 monthly revenue, which covers office, marketing, insurance, and modest salaries for all 5 of us. 15 clients a month. That's ambitious, but achievable. There are approximately 2.1 million women over 40 in professional roles. In the New York metro area, if even a fraction of them need career transition support, we have a market. Tessa pulled out her laptop. I mocked up a website. Basic packages could be bronze. Tier at $1,000, silver at $2,000, gold at $5,000. We offer different levels of support based on what clients need. We'd need testimonials, credentials, proof of concept. We're the proof of concept. We all got pushed out. We all know what that feels like. And we all have the skills to help other women navigate it. But no track record, so we build one. We take on a few clients, maybe even pro bono for the first ones. And we prove the model works. I talked to a lawyer this morning. Business formation, LLC setup, basic legal framework. It would cost about $5,000 to get everything official. I talked to a real estate agent. There's a small office space available in Midtown. $3,000 a month. Not fancy, but functional. Michelle looked at them. You two are really serious about this. I cashed in my 401k from my last company yesterday. I'm too old to climb another corporate ladder. This is my last shot at doing something that matters. Pam's voice was soft. My husband thinks I'm having a midlife crisis. Are you? Maybe. But you know what? After yesterday, I don't care. I spent half my life making sure men got credit for work I did. Managing their egos, smoothing over their mistakes. I'm done with that. Tessa looked around the table. Show of hands. Who's actually in? Carmen's hand went up first. Then Michelle's. Then Pam's. They all looked at me. I thought about my apartment. My cat. My daughter in California who'd want me to be practical. My ex-husband who'd say I was being reckless. All the voices telling me to play it safe. And I thought about yesterday morning. Walking into that conference room and being told I was redundant. I raised my hand. All right then. I guess we're starting a revolution. The office. The office space was on the 7th floor of a building. That had seen better days. One large room with windows facing west. A small private office and a bathroom that needed updating. The carpet was industrial gray. The walls were that particular shade of beige that corporate America loves. It was perfect. We can put desks here. Conference table there. The private office can be for client meetings. We'll need furniture. I've got an IKEA membership. We can furnish this whole place for under $5,000 if we're strategic. Carmen examined the lease agreement. First and last month's rent plus security deposit. We're looking at $9,000 up front. Between the 5 of us? That's $1,800 each. We all looked at each other. This is really happening. Getting cold feet? Terrified feet. But no, not cold. I pulled out my checkbook. Let's do this before I change my mind. We each wrote checks, handed them to Carmen, who'd been designated temporary CFO. Until we made it official. She stacked them neatly in her portfolio. We're really doing this. We're really doing this. Michelle had brought champagne. Cheap stuff, plastic cups, but it felt ceremonial anyway. We stood in our empty office. 5 women with more courage than sense, and toasted. To the second act society. To not being redundant. To revolution. To second chances. I raised my cup last. To us. Whatever the hell happens next. We drank. Montage the build. The next 2 weeks were chaos. We filed LLC paperwork, set up a business bank account, bought furniture and spent an entire Saturday assembling it while arguing about whether the instructions were wrong. Or we were just bad at following them. Tessa built the website. Michelle designed our logo, a phoenix rising, because apparently we weren't subtle. Pam created our intake forms and client questionnaires. Carmen set up our accounting system. And I wrote our mission statement. The Second Act Society exists to empower women over 40. To navigate career transitions with confidence, dignity, and purpose. We believe that experience is an asset, not a liability. That midlife isn't an ending, it's a beginning. And that every woman deserves a second act worth celebrating. We soft launched the website on a Thursday. By Friday morning, we had 3 inquiries. Diane, look at this. I went to her desk. She showed me her computer screen. Our contact form had submissions. Rachel, 52, lost my job 3 months ago. Can't get an interview. Need help. Denise, 47, returning to work after 15 years raising kids. Don't know where to start. Patricia, 59, forced into early retirement. Not ready to stop working. What are my options? I felt something catch in my throat. They found us. We launched the website 12 hours ago. How did they find us already? Because they're looking. They're out there, desperate for help, and we just turned on a light. Carmen answered her phone. The Second Act Society, this is Carmen. Yes, we do. Could you tell me a little about your situation? I see. Let me take down your information. She grabbed a pen, started writing. We need an intake system. A schedule for consultations. A process. We literally opened yesterday. And we already have clients. I'm setting up a scheduling system right now. By end of day Friday, we had 12 consultation requests. We sat in our conference room. A folding table and 5 mismatched chairs, and stared at the list. 12. In 2 days. We need to decide on pricing. We can't just wing this. Bronze tier. 3 sessions, resume review, basic coaching. $1,000. That's too low. We're selling ourselves short already. Make it $1,500. We debated, argued, compromised, set our prices. Bronze $1,500, silver $3,000, gold $5,000. What if nobody pays it? Then we adjust. But we start by valuing ourselves appropriately. We need to decide who takes which clients. We divided them up based on need and our expertise. I took 3. So did everyone else. Our first official clients. When do we start? Carmen checked her calendar. How about Monday? Monday. 4 days away. 4 days to figure out what the hell we were doing. We can do this. Though she sounded like she was trying to convince herself. We have to. We walked out together, locking the office behind us. Closing scene. That night, my daughter called from California. Mom, I heard about the layoff. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? I'm fine, sweetie. Have you started looking for new jobs? Actually, I started a business. Mom? 5 of us from the company. We started a coaching firm. For women going through career transitions. Wow. That's big. Are you sure that's a good idea? There it was. The doubt I'd been expecting. No, I'm not sure at all. But I'm doing it anyway. What if it fails? Then I'll have tried something that mattered. That's more than I can say about the last 27 years. I'm proud of you, Mom. I felt tears prick my eyes. Yeah, you've always played it safe. This is different. Scary, but different. After we hung up, I sat in my window. With Professor Whiskers purring in my lap, looking out at Brooklyn. Tomorrow was Saturday. Monday, we'd see our first clients. We had an office, a website, and a dream that terrified us. But we also had each other. 5 women who'd been told they were redundant. Proving that we were anything but. My phone buzzed. Email from Carmen. Official business name registered with the state. We're real. The Second Act Society is officially open for business. Ready or not? I looked at Professor Whiskers. Ready or not? He meowed. Possibly in support. Probably wanting treats. I gave him both. Treats, and a scratch behind the ears. Here we go. Second act. Starting now.